Hey, welcome to my channel. How are you doing? I'm wearing a grey cardigan again, and I seem to just wear grey in like every single video, so welcome back to grey time, yay! So today I'm talking about the misconception between what people seem to think that therapy is and what people actually experience through therapy and what therapy is. Now, I'm talking about this as someone who has had a huge amount of experience going through therapy myself. I'm training to be a counsellor, so I have that as well. I'm also a trainee psychologist. I do some work coaching as well, so that's where this is coming from, just to give you the background. So, I remember thinking that only people who have mental health problems go to a therapist. Oh, I was so naive. And I think that's a very British view anyway, that to need therapy, you need to have some shit going on, basically. That's just not the case, right? I am a firm advocate where I think that everybody could do with some form of therapy. In the same way that I think that everybody could do with some form of exercise for their physical health, I believe that everybody could do with some sort of therapy for their mental health too. I think that the world would be such a different place if everybody did that. And I really like how it tends to be more in America. People do just go and see a therapist. Like, there's not this kind of stigma around it. In Britain, it seems to be like you have got a problem if you go to a therapist. There's so much stigma around being open that you see a therapist, talking about it, whatever. It drives me mad. We're going to talk about a few of these assumptions that people have around going to a therapist. So, first things first, people tend to think that you'll go to a therapist because you are broken and you need to be fixed. And I would also say where that comes from is it's this feeling like everybody else is normal and you are a broken part and you need to go to therapy so that you can realign with everybody else and be normal. It's this feeling like I'm going to go to the therapist and they will fix me. Another assumption I've heard is that they are going to look at your childhood so that you can blame stuff on your parents or your upbringing or your childhood experiences. Heard that one a lot. It is true that therapy will look into the past, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. That the therapist is going to provide you with the answers. So you're going to sit opposite this therapist and they are going to tell you how to fix your life or how to fix the head. Again, it's about the fixing thing, but they're going to tell you the right answers. Like, they will give you those support and you will have clear actions and you will do it and that's going to fix you. The allotting of blame. So as I've said, blaming the parents for the upbringing, blaming the bullies for whatever you experienced as a teenager or child or whatever, blaming your partner for how they treat you, blaming other stuff, but there will be clear blame because from a mental health perspective, a lot of the time we blame ourselves. We're broken, we're wrong, we're not normal. So then we think we'll go to a therapist and they'll help us to see that actually it's other people that are to blame. That's quite a common one. There's also this assumption that the therapist office will be a safe space where we can be like nurtured and our viewpoint can be totally validated, almost enabling experience is what I'm going to say, is something else I've heard. To deal with all of those, I'm going to talk about what therapy actually is. Yes, therapy is validating your experiences. You will sit down in front of a therapist, they will look at the past and they will show you why your perspective is valid. They will talk about things that have caused you hurt and pain and things that you feel guilty about because you feel hurt. They will go through everything in your life if you open up that much, and they will help you to see that your reactions are perfectly normal and perfectly valid. What they will also do is open your perspective so that instead of just seeing it from your point of view, you can see the bigger picture of what was actually happening at that time. So for example, if you talk about an issue in your childhood, they might talk about what was going on for your parents, what was going on for your siblings, what was going on in the world at that time. They may open the perspective more. So there'll be a lot of questions such as, do you think there could be more to that? What do you think this person would say if you spoke to them about this? So there is a broadening of perspective. They will also help you to see in that process that you are not broken. And that's really, really important. It's not that you need to fit in with normal, it's that you have other stuff going on. So your perception is a set way, which is not the same as other people's perceptions. The broadening of that and the seeing of other people's different perspectives will help you to realize that there is no normal. You are reacting in the way that you have been conditioned and programmed to based on things that you have gone through, and that is not necessarily indicative of the truth, but you are not broken. And in fact, you're actually working exactly the way that your body was designed to work. So far from being broken, you're actually functioning perfectly. If you have experienced an event, and from that event, the way that you deal with future events is different, that's because of a survival technique that your body has adapted in order to survive. So it's actually working perfectly. It is definitely a safe space where you can open up and you can talk and there's no judgment. But what it is not, is it's not a safe, enabling space. It's a safe, challenging space. Going to therapy is not about going and sitting in a room and someone giving you basically the equivalent of a mental hug and telling you that everything's okay and there's nothing wrong with you. It's bloody hard work. Like, it's a challenge. It's taking that, listening to that, and then inviting you to see a bigger picture than that and to process your emotions in a way that deals with so much more than just the one story that you have been telling yourself. In the aim that once you process that part, you can then move on with your life without it keeping coming back, which is what happens if you don't process things. But it's definitely a safe space, but it's a safe space where you will be challenged. This other thing of thinking that it's blaming other people is also not correct. What you will do is you'll look back on something that happened, you will process how you feel about it from your perspective, and then the therapist, as I said, will open up your perspective to other people and other people's things. It's not about saying this thing happened to you when you were a kid and it's their fault. It's more like looking back and saying this thing happened around you and these are the circumstances that caused that to happen. And it's nobody's fault because everybody was doing the best that they could at the time. Unless there was obviously something quite significant going on. Again, it's a strange one because something that I found with my experience through therapy was that I used to hope that I could sit in therapy and that I could tell them something and that this person would give me these answers. And again, that's something I just talked about a minute ago, this feeling like they're gonna tell me what to do, they're gonna give me the advice, they're going to help me through this, they will tell me the right answers on how I can process this. And actually what I found was a lot of the time I would sit there and go, oh my god, this thing's happened and there's this person and they're such a bitch and blah, blah, blah. And every single bloody time this therapist would go, what can you do about this? And it would constantly come back to me, you know, how can I process this differently? How can I deal with this differently? If this is important to me, what conversations could I now have? You know, it is literally about giving you back all of that control to say, look, this is important to you. How can you manage this in a way that resolves this issue that you're having? And that's something that comes from therapy, but for a while, it feels bloody awful that you just want some validation that this person treated you like crap. And actually you just get, is that what really happened? Let's open this up. And then you get, okay, I could have done this differently. And it's, okay, what can I do now? So there's a whole load of putting the onus back on yourself, which is awesome because you realize how in control you are of the life that you live, of the way that you want to behave with people and of your relationships. Basically, to anybody who is either considering going through therapy or currently is, I'm so proud of you for even thinking about it. If you're doing it, hats off to you. It is such hard work, but it is utterly life-changing, and I can't stress that enough. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I think a lot of society would have you feel ashamed for that. There is nothing wrong with you. Nobody will look down on you for wanting to take care of your physical health, either through exercise or diet or whatever. You know, if you suddenly were super duper fit and you cancelled a gym membership, people would think you were insane. And so if you're carrying on seeing a therapist regularly, congratulations. I can't even tell you how frustrated I get with the different ways that people view mental health compared to physical health, and having a lot of mental health support, being really open about my mental health, seeking therapy. They've all been absolutely life-changing for me. So hats off to anybody who is on that journey, investigating that journey, or has done that journey. That's me rambling about therapy. I think I'm done now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.